Hi guys, γεια σας και καλώς ήρθατε to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today we're making a Spanakopita filled wreath. Actually, we're making a few of them. These are going to be an impressive and delicious appetizer if you're looking for something to serve around the holidays all the way through New Year. This is it. It's going to be so good. The filling, of course, is Spanakopita. We all know and love it. I think I've made so many Spanakopita recipes that I could write a big fat book on them, but they're just so good. So you can't beat it. And then the outside, the crust is going to be made with phyllo. It's going to be buttery and flaky and so good and delicious. You can assemble them ahead of time, like a week ahead of time or even more, and then just bake them off right before your party. Your house is going to smell delicious and your guests are going to love you. Let's get started. All right, so I have a pound of baby spinach leaves that I've just roughly chopped. They already come washed. You can wash them if you want. Just make sure you dry them really well. I'm going to put just a few handfuls in my mixer. I love using my mixer just because it makes life so easy. You don't need to use it. You can just mix everything by hand. Actually, you could even use your own hands to do this. That's how my mom does it at home. So I'm going to add 15 ounces of ricotta cheese. Now, if you don't have ricotta cheese and you have cream cheese, you could use that. I actually did that the other day when I was recipe testing. I realized I didn't have any ricotta cheese at home and I had no time to make it. And I just used a pack of cream cheese and that did the trick. You can also leave the ricotta cheese out and use all feta, which is what they do most of the time in Greece. I'm going to add 3 eggs. I usually don't crack my eggs into the bowl. Hardly ever happens, but once in a blue moon you'll get a bad egg and then your ingredients will have to get thrown out. But we risked it today. About 3 teaspoons of dried dill. If you have fresh dill, you could use a 1/4 cup. Just finely chop it. Just going to eyeball it. And over here I have 6 scallions that I've just thinly sliced. Those are also going to go in. This is going to come off because it's making life so hard. Some freshly cracked black pepper, about 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon, whatever you like. I'm just going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of salt because ricotta is not salty at all. But a pound of feta is going in here too. So if you don't want to add salt, taste as you go. You could add the eggs in last so you could taste the salt and see if it really needs seasoning. And about 3-4 tablespoons of really good quality Greek olive oil. We now have our olive oil in our shop. It comes straight from Crete and it is the best olive oil that I've ever had. So if you'd like to get some, head on over to the shop and check it out. And I'm going to start mixing this because if I were to put everything in here, it's going to start flying out. This mixer is not big enough to hold it at once. And just keep adding the spinach until it's all incorporated. And then I have a pound of feta cheese and I'm just going to crumble in here. I never buy already crumbled feta because it is just horrible quality. Too salty and just not good at all. It takes a second to crumble it yourself. And don't add the feta cheese in the beginning because it's going to just melt into the filling. You want to have that, you know, the little bite of feta in each bite. You don't want it to be kind of mushed up and turned into paste. And that's it. Just like that, the filling is ready. All right, so take the bowl off the mixer and just go in with a spatula and give everything a nice mix so it's all very well incorporated. I'm a clean freak, so I always clean as I go. I have a pound of number 4 phyllo pastry. This is a thinner pastry, and it's thawed out and at room temperature. It's sold frozen. You could thaw it overnight in the refrigerator, and then take it out and leave it on the counter for about an hour or 2 before you start working with it. This is going to make it so easy to work with. And I have 2 sticks or 8 ounces of unsalted butter that I've melted. You could use salted butter if you prefer. It'll add more flavor. This is what I have right now, so that's what I'm using. I'm going to put the phyllo sheets over here, get everything ready. I have 2 trays lined with parchment paper. Okay, so I'm going to butter 4 sheets of phyllo at a time, and this is wet. You want to make sure that this is not wet. Otherwise, the phyllo is just going to stick to it and turn into glue. You want it to be super dry. Here we go again. Let's give this one more try. Let's start with a dry phyllo. And we're just going to drizzle butter over 4 layers. You don't have to brush, but if you want to, you can. Here's 4. And this is not sponsored, but because I always get asked, what my favorite phyllo is, this is it. It's from the Phyllo factory. It's always fresh, maybe because I buy it from the Mediterranean grocery store. You can buy it from a Middle Eastern or Mediterranean grocery store. And usually those don't sit in the freezer for too long, so they're most likely going to be really fresh. When I buy it from the supermarket, it's not this brand, it's another brand. Usually I just don't have a good experience with it. The sheets are dry or they're stuck together. I'm able to work with them because I've worked with phyllo for so many years in the bakery, but I do recommend that you get your phyllo from a Mediterranean or Middle Eastern grocery store where they have a large turnover and it's fresh. Okay, so I put a little bit of the filling on the bottom and I'm just going to roll it up. And I'm going to do the same thing with 4 more sheets because we're going to butter them, fill them, and then we're going to twist them together. And I usually like lots of filling, but in this case, you don't want to go heavy with the filling. You just want to do a thin layer right there on the bottom third portion of the phyllo layers, because then it's going to be really hard to twist them together. They're going to break. Roll up. And then you're going to take these and you're just going to twist them. Just like that. And this is going to be one side of the wreath. Now you can make these smaller. This is going to be a little bit bigger. Put it on the baking tray. Twist as much as you can to kind of get as much texture as you can on the wreath. And if you want to get those edges to stick together, put some butter. We're going to butter this later on again. And just form a semicircle or a C. And now we're going to do the other side of the wreath. I made these for a dinner party the other day, and I just did 2 layers, so that way the wreaths could be a little bit smaller, and I could have more of them. So you could do that too. Instead of using 4 layers of phyllo, you could do 2, and I'll do that with the next one so you can see what it's going to look like. And then we're going to twist these together and just connect them. Brush with butter all around. You want these to get nice and golden and flaky and crisp. You can sprinkle some sesame seeds on top if you'd like, or even sprinkle a little bit of salt on top. And that's it. One wreath is done. Now let's make a few smaller ones. So I just buttered 2 layers of phyllo this time. And let's do 2 more. There you go, one cute small one. Let's make one more. And there you have it. You have one big wreath. You can make 2 of these, 2 of the big ones, or you can make 4 of these small ones, just the way we have here, or you could have 1 big one and 2 small ones. I do have some Spanakopita filling left over. I'm just going to transfer this to a little container and keep it refrigerated because I can make some more little spinach pies or anything with this. This never goes to waste. You can even mix it in an omelet or make scrambled eggs with it. So at this point, if you're making them ahead, you can pop them in the freezer, and once they're frozen solid, just either transfer them to freezer safe bags or wrap the trays with some plastic wrap, and then you can thaw them out in the refrigerator overnight, which I don't recommend. I prefer to just bake them straight away from the freezer whenever you're ready to bake them. I'm gonna make mine right away because my kids are waiting for these. My oven is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. These are gonna bake for about 30-40 minutes or until they're beautifully golden all around. Every oven bakes different, so please keep an eye on them. Don't let them burn. I'll show you what they look like as soon as they come out. All right, so the Spanakopita filled wreaths are ready. They took about 45 to 50 minutes in my oven to bake. I like them to be super golden and extra crispy. That's how we like them. You want to let them sit out at room temperature to rest for about 15 minutes before you serve them. And if you're serving them in the evening and you make them earlier on in the day, keep your oven warm because it is a good idea to toast them for about 5-6 minutes before you put them out, because the phyllo does tend to get a little bit softer as it sits. It's not the thicker phyllo like the country style phyllo, because if you were to use that, you would run out of layers. There just aren't enough in the package. If you want to use the country style phyllo, you're going to have to buy several packages. So I suggest that you stick to the number 4 phyllo. That is the best one to use. It is time for the taste test, and I want to let you hear just how crispy these are. You hear that? Hope you can hear it. That's what you want to hear. Time for the taste test. I hope I don't burn my mouth. It's still so hot. Give me Spanakopita every day and I'll be happy. The filling is so juicy and fresh. My mom never cooks the spinach, and that's how I learned it. And I know that this is one of the most popular recipes, my regular Spanakopita, probably on the channel. And everyone who makes it loves it just because of all that freshness. It's so juicy, yet it's not soggy. Creamy from the feta and the ricotta cheese. That phyllo is perfectly crisp and flaky. I think you guys are gonna love it. I hope you guys give it a try. The recipe, as always, is on the website, dimitrasdishes.com. While you're there, check out the shop. I have really cute things in there like aprons and olive oil and balsamic vinegar and all special things from the island of Crete, where I come from. Give this a try. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll be back here with another recipe very soon. Yes, us.